In this video, I'll show you how to use Lightroom's crop overlay tool to improve an image's composition, achieve a specific aspect ratio, and straighten an off-axis horizon. So I'm in the Develop module now, and if you look underneath the histogram down here in the tool strip, you can see the crop overlay tool icon. You can select that or just simply hit the R key, which I'll do now. And this brings up the controls for the crop. In the window area, you can see an overlay itself. Now, if you want, you can select different overlays. And to do that, you go under Tools and then Crop Guide Overlay. And you can see you have various options here. Now, I find it very useful just to use the O key to cycle through the various options, like I'm doing right now. Now these are just guides. These are ways to help you crop your image. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you want a 4:5 aspect ratio, for example, you can just use that as a guide, or 2:3 or 5:7. Now I'm going to go back to the thirds overlay. Now this is useful because it gives me a reference point that will improve my composition. It's following what's called the rule of thirds. If you place the object of interest at this point here where these lines intersect, or here, or here, or here, you'll improve the composition. Now the other overlays work in a similar fashion, giving you guides to follow as well. I actually like the thirds, but I also like the golden spiral, as it's called, or the spiral. One problem with the spiral sometimes is that this spiral, this is where the object should be placed, and it's, obviously it could be just as effective to be over here. In order to turn that spiral around, you hold the Shift key and then the O key. And now I can actually move the spiral into different positions, with the idea still that as long as you place the object of interest right here at the core of the spiral, you're going to have the most effective composition. Let me go back to the thirds, though. I'm going to use that. All right, so how do we use this crop tool? There's a couple ways. We can go right to the edge and click and drag and position a crop that way. And once we have that, we can go to another side. And then you can see now the icon turns to a hand within the image area, and I can move the image around within the overlay. So that's one way. Let me go ahead and hit reset. Another way is to just place your cursor in the image area, and you can see the crop overlay icon appears there, and click and drag like I'm doing right now and releasing, and I can fine-tune my crop just by grabbing one of the edges like I did before. Okay, another way to apply a crop is to choose a specific aspect ratio. And you do that over here. You can see it's set for original right now, but let me go ahead and select 16:9. I think that's a really nice aspect ratio. And you can see the aspect ratio appears in the overlay. If I click and drag now, I can't do anything but have a 16:9 ratio. It's locked to that. And you can see over here, the icon is locked. In fact, it's holding at that aspect ratio. Now, if I click and drag within the image area, I can move the image within that box. Now, I can change the orientation of that aspect ratio by using the X key. You can see it goes to portrait orientation, and now it goes to landscape orientation. But I think I'll go back and, let's see, I'm going to reset this and do a crop with the crop overlay tool like this. And now I'm going to position this boy right there where those lines intersect and select the return key. And once I do that, I can either do the return key, or I can hit the R key, or I can go over here and click on the crop overlay tool icon, and that'll take me out of the tool with the crop applied. Now the beauty, of course, is that I can go back after looking at it. I can go back and I can fine-tune the crop at any time. It's non-destructive, meaning I can go back anytime and change it. All right, so that's that crop. Now I want to show you how to use the crop tool in a different way. So let me come over here and select a different image. And you can see now in this image, I shot it off axis. In other words, the horizon is not straight, but it's very easy to fix it using the crop overlay tool. So let me show you. There's a couple ways to do it. One is to click outside of the bounding box, and you can see that double-headed arrow appears. Click and I'll drag, and you can see now my image is rotating. Because I have this grid now that appears, I can line the grid line right up to the horizon. And I can release, and once I release and hit the return key, Lightroom does the rest of the work for me. Let me show you another way to do the same thing. So I'll reselect the crop overlay tool. I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to use this straighten tool. I can either click on it here, and then it appears as an icon in the window. And now the way to use it is to click on a point in the horizon and drag along, just along so that it's now parallel to that horizon. And I'm going to release, and Lightroom automatically straightens the image for me. I can now fine-tune it by clicking outside of the box and then just rotating it. So let me hit reset. The other thing to keep in mind is if you are in the crop overlay tool and you hit either command or control on a PC, you'll see the icon turned from the crop overlay icon into the straighten tool. And now I can go ahead and do what I did before. Click, drag, release. It's done. Hit the return key. It's that simple. So well thought out cropping is very important. But you shouldn't worry about making a mistake. With the Lightroom crop overlay tool, you can always go back and redo your crop and start over again. It's really a great tool.